Morning. We're going to start with a short hymn sing. We're getting started a little late, but number 1017, Building a New Way. 1017. We're going to let Jay play a little sax solo for the first verse, and I'll let you know when to come in. So, Building a New Way. You got to put one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Lead with love. You don't have any music or anything. Just repeat after me. Okay.
Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. I am Sina Butler, a member of the Worship Associates Ministry, and welcome to this all-ages worship service. I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and call attention to the special note for you. Welcome guests and newcomers on the back side of the order of service. I would also like to welcome those of you attending online. Lyrics to hymns and all elements of the service may be found on the screen, and a complete order of service, including this week's announcements, is available via the link in the Sunday morning email and on the church website. Our in-person Sunday social is held immediately following the service. Please turn off or silence any cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. This morning we have a Share the Plate for Habitat for Humanity. I would like to welcome Glenn Davis to tell us about this morning's Share the Plate.
Morning. So I'm here, basically sans uniform, today to talk to you about the Habitat. Today, Share the Plate supports Orange County Habitat for Humanity, a partner of the Community Church for many, many years. Habitat for Humanity, now decades old, has created housing for thousands, tens of thousands, and in Orange County, we've been one of the premier chapters in the U.S. At the Weavers Grove site, as I've said before, it's now in its third of a 5-year build of 101 homes. 2026 will see much of the 5-year project completed, including a community center there. Several Habitat homes have been purchased by a nonprofit to provide supervised living for disabled adults, which will be an important part of the new community. The Habitat Weavers Grove project is a partnership with Garmin Homes and White Oak Properties. This means that market rate homes are available on the same large site, an integrated income community. There are many shared features of this partnership, which include, for example, playgrounds, community center, walking paths, and so on. This is the first large community completed by Habitat in partnership with commercial construction companies under guidelines and a contract. As you know, affordable home ownership is virtually unavailable in Orange County. A reasonable mortgage for a home is unaffordable for many, or if not most, working adults because of substantial down payment requirements. It's almost impossible to save enough on current income salaries. Apartment living is not really a viable choice for many couples or single parents with children or dependents. Home ownership is a dream for them. So please contribute today and join me at the tabling to learn more if you wish. And as an added note, I would say for those of you who would like to join a tour of Weavers Grove, to be led by myself, Dave Morgan, who coordinates volunteers, and Michelle Graham from Habitat, please read the weekly bulletin in weeks to come for dates and times. Thank you, and thank you for your contributions.
Thank you, Glenn. Our opening hymn for this morning is number 149 in the Gray Hymnal. The hymn is Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is also the African American national anthem. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing this song with reverence and respect. One of Martin Luther King's famous speeches was on the 3 evils of society. In this speech, Dr. King warned us of the 3 sicknesses that harm our society: the sickness of racism, the sickness of militarism, and the sickness of poverty. Dr. King's words, sadly, still speak to us. We come together this morning to tell the truth about our world. Telling the truth means naming brokenness, and that can be hard and sad, but we choose to tell the truth. The truth about the attacks against immigrants and the community in Minneapolis. The truth about war. The truth about choosing to spend money on bombs instead of school and science. The truth that some people don't have enough to eat in the richest country on earth. Martin Luther King spoke about the truth of this brokenness, and we need to keep speaking this truth today. Speaking hard truths can make us feel despair, but beautiful things can be created out of this brokenness. Martin Luther King said, "We can hew a stone of hope out of a mountain of despair." Come, let us create that stone of hope. Come, let us worship together. Please join me in saying the words for our chalice lighting, which are found in your order of service. We light our chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of the open mind. This is a church of the loving heart. And this is a church of the helping hands.
I'm sure you've heard these words before, If I Had a Hammer by Pete Seeger, but there's a very little chance you've heard this melody of it. So this man, Craig Hella Johnson, who is also the one who composed the Considering Matthew Shepard that we did last May, reimagined this song in a more contemporary setting. So it uses the words of Pete Seeger with the music of Craig Hella Johnson, If I Had a Hammer.
Good morning. Love is at the center. Every being has inherent worthiness and dignity. That is what we, Unitarian Universalists, believe. At the core of our faith is a commitment to care and act for justice and equity and to dismantle racism. Throughout our history of both Unitarianism and Universalism, our people have been working to confront and challenge racism. We have been in solidarity and allies with the leaders in the movement to abolish slavery, to challenge Jim Crow, to stand with Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma, and today with Side with Love to protect voting rights. This is hard work because racism is so deeply ingrained in our history, our economic systems, our government, our culture, in our hearts and minds. It is not a struggle for a day, a week, a year, a decade. It is a struggle that is centuries old. I think of racism like a terrible, choking, invasive vine in the garden of our country and our world. It grows fast, it pops up everywhere, it is strong, thick, and has deadly spines. It is tangled in everything, and it requires constant vigilance and struggle. And we need good tools to help us in the struggle against racism, to beat back this choking vine. I, in my work, am always seeking new and improved tools to help us combat racism. And today I want to share about Mosaic, which is a new tool that we are trying here at church. Mosaic is a Unitarian Universalist program that is designed for Unitarian Universalist congregations just like ours. It is a tool to help us be more effective in fighting racism. Let me digress for a moment. Mosaic is such a good name for this tool that helps us work against racism. When we think of mosaics, and this is a mosaic that our congregation made together in the fall, we think of beautiful art that is made of broken pieces of glass or tile. And it reminds me that we can work to repair this broken world in ways to make it beautiful. I also love the way a mosaic includes every individual piece so that you can see and notice it, and also notice the beautiful whole at the same time. It reminds me of how inclusion and belonging work. We are individuals, yes, but in community we are also beautiful. Anyway, back to the Mosaic program. It has lots of parts. One part, and the part that I want to talk about today, is a curriculum for all ages, from kindergarten to adults. A curriculum to learn about racism, its history, how it works in society, and skills to combat it. It is based on the Our Whole Lives program, OWL, which many of you are familiar with. Just like we Unitarian Universalists have a program for all ages to learn about sexuality, now we have a program for all ages to learn about racism. I am excited to say that we tried the Mosaic curriculum this fall. The first group to try it this fall was our elementary group, kindergarten through 5th grade, also known as the Water Circle and the Fire Circle, for those of you who are in the know. Kat and I led it together, which was really special for us because we haven't been able to lead worship together since the pandemic lockdown. We cleared our schedules so we could work together because anti-racism is so important to both of us and we wanted to focus on it. Mosaic is an engaging program for kids with inspiring stories, thought-provoking activities, and it is empowering. And that is important because what we need to be is empowered. Racism is awful, and the fact that it is such a long battle, and because we are in such a dark time right now, it is easy to be discouraged. Mosaic reminds us first that we have to tell the truth about racism. Just telling the truth is an effective weapon. We don't have to be afraid of the truth about our history and our culture. Mosaic also reminds us that we all have a part, no matter our age, in dismantling racism, and we can practice skills that actually help. We can practice inclusion, questioning, and speaking up and out. We are going to roll out Mosaic for other ages so that all of us can learn together and practice together, speaking up and telling the truth.
Thank you, Marion. Let us sing again. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, and we are going to sing number 1040 in the Teal hymnal, Hush.
Hi, Kat. I think it's so cool that the kids here have been working on their art this year.
What do you mean?
Well, Marion was just saying that they're doing the mosaic curriculum. And mosaic is a kind of art where you stick together pieces of tile or whatever to make a new image.
Part of that is true.
I think the arts are so important, and it's great that this church supports kids in doing mosaics.
Well, I mean, hold on. Art is important, and mosaic is a type of art.
I know, I just said that.
But the mosaic curriculum isn't about making art. That part isn't true at all. We just heard Marion tell us that mosaic is an anti-racism curriculum that helps people of all ages have the important conversations about race and build an anti-racism and anti-oppression skills so that they can put the broken pieces of our world back together and build a better world, a beloved community. Mosaic is a metaphor.
Okay, I guess that one tiny little detail wasn't true. One of us misunderstood.
Sometimes people say things that aren't true because they don't know any better. They misunderstand. Sometimes people say things that aren't true because they're scared or they hope that it will help them get their way.
Either way, it's important to identify lies and be able to call them out, like Kat did just now when I was spreading misinformation about mosaic.
Sometimes it can be hard to tell the truth, especially if that person who is lying or misinformed is really confident.
It can feel easier sometimes to just keep the truth to yourself, especially if you're trying to tell the truth when a lot of people are disagreeing.
Because our church community values truth-seeking and truth-telling, this can be a place where we practice telling the truth and recognizing lies. In Mosaic, we worked on a skill each week because practice makes progress. Would you like to practice telling the truth? Okay. Would you like to practice spotting a lie? Yes, okay. Let's do both.
Great. This reminds me of the icebreaker game, Two Truths and a Lie. People usually play that game to reveal something unexpected or surprising about themselves. It's a great get-to-know-you game.
Yeah, I like that game. I especially like figuring out what is true. I love the why of that game. I wonder if we could practice a truth, a lie, and a why, since the why is so important. Do you want to play?
Sure. Here are two things about me. I have long hair, and I have never broken a bone.
Okay, so you told a truth and a lie, and now I need to figure out the why. I think it may be a lie that you've never broken a bone. Why? Because I can see that you're wearing a boot, which people wear when they're recovering from a broken bone.
You got it. Now it's your turn. I told the truth about myself and a lie about myself. Can you do one about the world?
Yes. That's a little more challenging, but I'm game. Okay, the world is always fair, and people have power and can change the world by working together.
Well, it's true that people have power and can change the world by working together. I know that. I've experienced that myself, and I've learned that from history. So the world is always fair must be a lie.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. I wonder if everyone here would like to give a truth, a lie, and a why a try. That's a lot of rhymes.
In a moment, we'll ask you to turn to someone near you and tell them one thing you know that is true about the world or yourself, and one thing that you know is a lie. We won't do two truths and a lie for the sake of time. Your partner will listen and call out which one they think is the lie and tell you why. Remember to discuss the why. That's the really important part. After 2 minutes, we will ring a bell and switch so that the listener will become the teller.
So let the truth-telling begin. All right, we already did our... Your reminder to switch if you haven't switched yet. Thank you for playing.
Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. This morning, our generosity extends beyond these walls as our offering goes to support Habitat for Humanity. If you wish to donate online, there's a QR code on the order of service, and there's information on the church's website. We will now receive the morning offering.
This is a song Patti Smith wrote right back in the 70s, I think. And it was revived by a group called Choir. There's like a pop-up choir in Toronto, Canada. And then they actually had Patti Smith come and guest star with them and sing the song in New York City. And Marion saw that and suggested that we do this song. And so we're finally doing it. And we expect you to sing along too. So basically the words are, people have the power. That's all you have to know. Okay? And yeah, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Where the pure rarefied
It is a funny coincidence that today's service is about... That startled me. Got things falling over. It's a funny coincidence that today's service is about telling the truth and challenging lies, because it made me think of something yesterday. Yesterday, the Board of Trustees of our church had its retreat, and part of the retreat, board member Heather O'Connor shared with us the results of a leadership personality test that all the members of the board had taken. The test asked us to answer a bunch of questions and then would tell us what leadership traits we most embodied. Out of 23 different leadership characteristics, the leadership trait that our board most embodied was honesty. And when Heather shared these results with us, I wasn't at all surprised, because Heather had done this exact same exercise with the board 4 years ago, a completely different board, and the results had been the same. That board 4 years ago embodied honesty as its highest leadership trait. I actually have a hypothesis, a thoughtful guess, which is that Heather could go to most any Unitarian Universalist church in the country. She could go to Eno River in Durham, or Raleigh, or Denver, or Kalamazoo, and have the people of that church take the leadership characteristics test, and I hypothesize, I thoughtfully guess, that honesty would turn out to be a top leadership trait. I think there is something about being Unitarian Universalist that encourages honesty and truth-telling. Honesty means speaking the truth, and our religious tradition tells us that we need to be really honest about what it is that we believe, that if we don't believe in God, we can say that, and everyone else will say, "I'm so glad you're being honest." And if we do believe in God, we can say that, and everyone else will be, "I'm so glad you are being honest." Honesty also means presenting oneself authentically. And in our church, we try to create a community that is safe and that encourages people to be really who they are, instead of pretending to be somebody who they are not. And the test that Heather gave us also said that part of honesty means taking responsibility for our actions, which is part of our church covenant, to apologize when warranted and to seek to make amends. We practice truth in our words, we practice truth by being who we really are, and we practice truth in our actions by acting in line with who we know ourselves to be. Isn't that a really great way to be in the world? I'm so glad to belong to a church that tells us that we should tell the truth even when it's hard and even when it's sad. Something that is sad is that the world doesn't always tell the truth. Sadly, the world doesn't always tell the truth to children. Let me give you a few examples. Some libraries and school libraries in our country have book bans. What a book ban means is that somebody goes in and removes the books that have ideas they don't want children to learn about. They are scared of people thinking thoughts they don't agree with and learning about things they don't want people learning about. Is that an honest way to live in the world? No. Some states in our country, many states in our country, have passed laws about what history can be taught in school. And in some places, children aren't allowed to learn the real history of our country. Is that an honest way to be in the world? And at some history museums in our country, people have changed exhibits, and instead of telling people the truth of our history, they tell people something that isn't true. Is that an honest way to be in the world? No. And it's not just kids. This is a time in our country where there are people, powerful people, who are trying to get us to believe things that are not true. If Heather gave them the test, honesty would not be the top trait. This is a time when all of us have to be careful to catch the lies that we're being told and to counter the lies by speaking what is true instead. And what I want to say about telling the truth this morning especially is that racism is a form of lying. Racism asks us to believe things about our neighbors that are not true. Racism asks us to believe things about ourselves that are not true. And racism asks us to believe things about our history and our country that are not true. When our country was formed, words were written about what our country was supposed to be about. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And what truth-tellers have told all through the years, truth-tellers like Martin Luther King and so many others, is that these ideas are beautiful and true, but we fail to live the truth of these ideas. We are living something that is different. The great African-American writer James Baldwin once said, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." What James Baldwin is saying is that knowing the truth is what allows us to change the things that are wrong in the world. So here is my charge to us this morning. One thing that is important to do is to learn the truth, especially the truth that other people don't want you to learn. Learn the true history that some people don't want schools to teach. Read the banned books with ideas that some people don't want children to read. Another thing that you can do is to be a truth teller, to counter lies, and to amplify the truth. I invite us all to think of a time and a way in which we can be truth tellers. When Martin Luther King received the Nobel Peace Prize, as part of his speech, he said, "I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality." And it's up to us to make that so. Thank you. We will now sing our closing hymn of the morning. This is a hymn that both Glenn and I learned last summer when we were at a musicians conference in Atlanta. It's called "More Than Ever," and it's a lot of fun to sing. So I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join in singing along.
Hello. You'll find the lyrics to this hymn in your order of service. You'll notice the first verse, all the words are printed out, and then after that, we just the words that are in bold are the ones that changed. Otherwise, the verse remains the same. I'm going to sing it through once, verse 1, to familiarize you with the melody, and then we'll all sing along verse 1 again, and then we'll go on to the rest of the song. It's called "More Than Ever." This is by Leah Morris, and she wrote it the day after the 2016 election, and then she asked her friends to help write extra verses, which is why there's like 14 people listed as songwriters. Sing that again. Now's the moment for shining on. Now is the moment for shining on. It's all right to cry, but keep your eyes on the prize. Now is the moment for shining on. The world needs our light more than ever. It's all right to cry, but keep your Keep your eyes on the prize. Now is the moment. Taking a breath, the world needs our peace more than now is the moment. Open heart is all right to cry. But keep your eyes on the prize. Now is the moment. Open heart, the world needs our peace more than
The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me in reading them. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let us give thanks to everyone who helped us make this a wonderful service. Please join us in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service. As you are comfortable, please either hold your hands with the person next to you or cross your arms over your heart.